WrestleMania Night 2, and I'm here to preview the grandest stage of them all on Night 2. Of course, Alexis Carrillo here, back with some more predictions, with some more previews. We already did the preview for Night 1. You can go ahead and check that one out right here on this channel. And right here, right now, we're here to preview Night 2 of WrestleMania 37. And again, I'm doing this at night. I'm doing this before both shows, so I can't really give opinions on what happened on Night 1. So, with that said, let's head into the predictions themselves. 7 matches for Night 2, just like Night 1. And let's start it off with a singles match. Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. Can I just say this? Can I just say this one thing? And this one thing is, back in 2009, 2010, 2011, when they were known as Kevin Steen and El Generico, did the fans ever think that they'd be seeing them on the grandest stage of them all, one-on-one in a singles match? Did you ever think that? Something to think about. But, it sucks that we might have Logan Paul involved. Again, publicity, celebrities gotta get involved at WrestleMania. Nothing wrong with that. Again, as long as it doesn't mess with the actual in-ring content and, they bring good publicity to the show. But other than that, Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. And we talked about it. We talked about it in Night 1. This is Night 2. You gotta have some heels going over. And of those heels, we've got Sami Zayn going over Kevin Owens. I think the documentary team plays a big part in having Zayn go over. I think Logan Paul plays a part. Obviously, he has to, so he can get some headlines and publicity for WrestleMania Night 2. And we need Kevin Owens to be preoccupied because the Universal title picture is going to be involving Roman Reigns for the next few weeks, months after this. And Kevin Owens is, he's already been involved with Reigns at this point. So with that said, I gotta give it to Sami Zayn. But you never know. Kevin Owens had a WrestleMania moment last year, jumping off that big sign. He might go after the big ass boat they're gonna have for WrestleMania set. So we gotta be on the lookout for that. Then we're gonna have match number 2, the United States Championship match. The United States title on the line, where Riddle, I don't like just calling him Riddle. I just don't. Why not just call him Matt Riddle? Just like before. What's this obsession with changing his name? I really don't know. But he defends the title against Sheamus. And frankly, Riddle has to retain. Sheamus, he can win, he can lose. It doesn't really affect him. He's an established star. He can put guys over, just like he did last year with Big E. It didn't hurt him. Just like he did earlier this year when he put over Drew McIntyre in those brawls. Those all-out brawls that he just had with his former best friend. So Sheamus has no problem, taking the L and giving Riddle that big win to keep him on that momentum, and then have someone else eventually come up and take the title off of Riddle. The Women's Tag Team Championships are on the line at WrestleMania, and we talked about it Night 1. I think the Wyatt Squad wins the Tag Team Turmoil match, and they go on to face Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, who are going to have the added distraction, the added advantage of Reginald by ringside. But here's the thing. If Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler defeat the Riot Squad, or whomever comes out of that Tag Team Turmoil match as number 1 contender, if they beat them, does that not state that they have gone through the entire women's tag team division and there is nobody else for them to beat? Does it not send that message? Maybe, maybe not. But then again, if Jackson basically do defeat Riot Squad, you know, that just establishes them more as a force to be reckoned with, as the most dominant tag team champions of all time, and it had to take someone like Asuka and Charlotte to dethrone them. But if you ask me, I gotta go with an upset. There's always a WrestleMania upset, and that upset, those underdogs, that's gotta be, for me, the Riot Squad. That's gotta be it. I think the Riot Squad, with an assist from Reginald, you know, he's gonna play a part in that match. You just know it. You just know it. It's gonna be fun, and it's gonna cause some turmoil. See what I did there? In that tag team title match, but I think the Riot Squad finally become tag team champions. So let's give it to Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan this one time. In a match that I do not get yet for this Intercontinental Championship match, the Nigerian drum fight. Big E defending his Intercontinental Championship against Apollo Crews, who has generated a Nigerian accent for himself. Which, again, there's nothing wrong with it. Nothing at all. It's a pretty good African accent. The problem here is, and again, it's a problem just for me because he's a heel, so him bringing the accent into it just bothers me more, because we know he could talk like a normal American, but he's trying to, you know, pull on his Nigerian and ancestral roots. So that might just bother me. That just might be his heelish tactics to get under my skin and maybe under other fans' skin. But again, it's, you know, jarring to just listen to him talk in English and then, you know, fake an accent. So it's just a little bit jarring for me. This is a tough one, because on one hand, I want WWE to establish Big E as a great Intercontinental Champion, to establish him as a dominant champion, and to establish him as a guy who can carry a title, who can carry a program, and not be boring. But do you really want to sacrifice, however, do you really want to sacrifice, I should use more synonyms more often, do you really want to sacrifice Apollo Crews' current heel run? He did just turn heel, and, you know, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. Again, I gotta flip a coin. I gotta just make a prediction and just be done with it. I could go either way, but I gotta go with Big E retaining his Intercontinental Championship. There, I said it. Apollo Crews loses, and maybe down the line, Big E loses the Intercontinental Championship against Cesaro or Seth Rollins. We never know. But again, I gotta give it to Big E retaining that championship. Moving on to a singles match, a program that's been going on since what? October, since Halloween time. The Fiend is back. The Fiend is disfigured. He got burnt at TLC by the Viper, by Randy Orton. He came back. We saw it Fastlane. He helped his little Harley Quinn-esque little girl, Alexa Bliss, in her match, was it a match? Against Randy Orton. This sets up this match. And the Fiend is a babyface, Randy Orton is a heel. Who wins? Who comes out the winner of this match? Fiend. Fiend all the way. You've got to build him back up. You've got to build the Fiend back up. And as far as I know, as far as I can tell, he's the babyface in this feud, in this rivalry. So, if we go by the predictions that I gave on night one, which is Bobby Lashley retaining the WWE Championship, why not have the Fiend challenge for the WWE title against the almighty Bobby Lashley. And again, Randy Orton, he's established. He's the Viper. He's the Legend Killer. He's a 14-time world champion. He's main evented WrestleManias. He's won Money in the Bank ladder match. He's won the Royal Rumble match. The guy, you know, he could lose 10 times in a row. It would not affect him. He's just that established, and frankly, he's just that damn good. On the mic, in the ring, in his presence, in his acting, even at this point. Randy Orton is just above everything else. That damn good, which is why I gotta give it to the Fiend in this match. But this feud, this rivalry is far from over. I seriously doubt it's gonna end in just a plain singles match. Yes, at WrestleMania, yes, at the grandest stage of them all. But really, just a singles match? Doubt it. Gotta give it to the Fiend. Then we get to the semi-main event. Asuka, the Empress of Tomorrow, she's back. The badass, hopefully she's back. She's going to defend her Raw Women's Championship, a title that she hasn't really defended in months on pay-per-view. I don't think so. I don't think she defended it at Fastlane. I don't think she defended it at the Rumble. Or did she? I'm not remembering quite sure. But she's going to defend it against the nightmare that is Rhea Ripley. And this is Rhea Ripley's second shot at the Raw at a Women's Championship match at WrestleMania. We saw her last year. She lost her title to the Queen, to Charlotte Flair, on the grandest stage of them all, at WrestleMania 36. She lost that match. So that means this time she's got a chip on her shoulder, and this time she's here to stay. She is here to stay and to really give the Monday Night Raw Women's Division a boost, a much needed boost. Now honestly, if you ask me, I thought this match was going to have Charlotte Flair written all over it. Because ever since Charlotte Flair was called up to the main roster, every single year at WrestleMania, without miss, she's been a part of a Raw Women's title, not Raw Women's title, of an actual Women's title match. So honestly thought she was going to be a part of it. She's not. Bummer. Really a bummer, because not on the same level as Bayley, but still, it really affects the pedigree of WrestleMania itself and the women's division itself. But hell, we're going to get a slobber knocker of a match between Rhea Ripley and Asuka. Damn it. Damn it. It's another hard prediction. It's another one that I can't really decide. Because Asuka's been champion for a while. She's been carrying that Raw Women's division for a while. But do you really have both women's championships? All women. Actually, if we go by my predictions, we're going to have all the women's championships changing hands at WrestleMania. And I'm going to stick to it. I'm going to stick to it. I already said it. I got to stick with it. Rhea Ripley becomes the brand new Raw Women's Champion at WrestleMania 37. The Nightmare is here to stay. She is here to wreak havoc on the Raw Women's division, and I could not be more excited, because down the line, you know, we get that rematch with Charlotte Flair. You know she's coming back. So Ripley versus Flair rematch, or you add Asuka into that, make it a triple threat. I'm thrilled. The Raw Women's division needs a pump. The Nightmare is here to do it for us. And finally, the main event of night 2 of WrestleMania 37. The Universal Championship is on the line. The perennial underdog, the man who went into business for himself in Edge's own words, Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan facing off against the 2021 Royal Rumble match winner, the Rated R superstar Edge, in a triple threat match against the head of the table, against the tribal chief, against the man who has been on a roll since he returned at SummerSlam, a man that has been entertaining as F on the mic and in the ring, and has clearly made SmackDown the must-watch show for WWE's main roster, Roman Reigns. Triple threat match for the Universal Championship. We've got the clear-cut babyface in Daniel Bryan, we've got the clear-cut heel in Roman Reigns, and we've got the unpredictability of the ultimate opportunist, of the rated R superstar Edge in this match. And unlike night one, where I was wearing my AJ Styles shirt and I predicted that he wasn't going to win the Raw Tag Team Championships, this time I got to give it to the rated R superstar. I gotta give it to Edge. He's a Universal Champion coming out of WrestleMania 37. That's my prediction. The following pay-per-view, rematch with Roman Reigns, and then we move on to having Edge defend the title against Daniel Bryan, and have the rated R superstar defend the title against many of the up-and-coming stars on the SmackDown brand. Because again, I've said it in the past, you can beat someone, you can beat anyone and still put him over. You don't have to have him win. You can beat them and they still go over as a top star, and I think that's something that Edge can do on the road to SummerSlam and later down this year. So with that said, Edge comes out with the Universal Championship out of WrestleMania. Those are my predictions for night 2. Anything can happen on both nights. 14 matches just for WrestleMania. Not to mention we got 2 nights of TakeOver, of NXT TakeOver already. We've already had Impact Wrestling. We've already had Dynamite, where we had Mike Tyson show up. It's a great week to be a wrestling fan, and it's a great week next week to catch up on all of these shows. Let's see where WWE takes us. Let's see where wrestling takes us itself. But again, we're fans. Let's just sit back and enjoy. So with that said, what are your thoughts? What are your predictions for night 2 of WrestleMania 37? Do you agree with me on the Charlotte part? Do you think that we need her just as much as Bayley on these nights, on these WrestleMania cards? Or do you disagree with me? Do you agree with me on these predictions? Leave your thoughts and comments and predictions on the comment section below. That's been it for me for night 2 predictions of WrestleMania 37. Again, let's just sit back and enjoy all the action this weekend. I've been Alexis Carrillo. Have a great night.